when you ask an Angolan about Kizomba, it's completely different. It's not just a dance; it's their culture.
It is, man. Yeah,
So yeah, yeah. So when you ask Angolans, or not even just Angolans, but like polyps, like Portuguese speaking countries,
exactly.
like for them, Kizomba is so much more than just a dance, and to see people take that name and kind of change it in any kind of way, whether it's the cadence of the footwork, or if it's the name of the dance, or if it's the music that is danced to, for people to start changing people's culture, it's very divisive in the dance community.
Mama za kungi betengo we kumoyi ingumada takana okyo sokinu kibanga se Manuele ngando mushisamye Manuele Manuele. Hey everyone, in today's episode of 2 Podcast, we had on the incredible Mr. Eddie Hercules, who is a full-time dancer now, as well as an instructor and a performer, man. He specializes in Kizomba as well as urban kids, man. In this episode, we talk about his beginner stage, what got him into dancing, man. Also some tips and hits on how to improve your leading and following, man. This is an amazing episode with an amazing man, yo. Let's jump right into it.
Hey, all right. So I am now on the line with a Mr. Eddie Hercules. You are a influencer, a entrepreneur, as well as a Kizomba and urban kids and dancehall, as well as Afro movements instructor, and you're also a physical trainer. Is that
Correct. What's up, my brother?
correct?
How are you?
Good, good, bro. So if I'm not mistaken, man, you've been dancing Kizomba since around 2015, and you are also the owner and founder of Hercules Dance Fitness, as well as the Kizomba Dance Alliance, which is trying to unite, I guess, dancers in the San Francisco area. Is that right? Or
Yeah, in the beginning, it was more to unite urban Kizomba and urban, and so it was to bring together Kizomba and urban kids together. And this was originally the idea because at the time there was a lot of conflict going on between the Kizomba Simba community and urban kids community.
right. Yeah.
So yeah, that was originally actually the scope of the organization.
No, I understand.
Yeah. hmm
Good show, man. And so, if I'm not mistaken, man, you were born in Oakland, California, but you currently live in Berkeley. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. I grew up in Berkeley, Oakland. It's not that far apart from each other. But Bay
Okay.
Area. Yeah, you could just
Okay.
say Bay Area.
Hey, shut
Right.
up, man. So I'm curious, man. I've only been to like Disney World, I think is in Cali. I've never been to the Bay Area, man. So I'm very curious to hear, man. What was your childhood like at the Bay Area, man? What was that like?
I think growing up in the Bay Area depends on, I guess, how old you are and what time it was growing up. But for me, I was born in '88, so for me, growing up in Oakland was pretty rough. To be honest, it's not as gentrified as it is now. There's so many companies here now, and so many tech companies, and there's a lot of money in the Bay Area now. But before, it hasn't always been like this. So, growing up in Oakland, it was good. Oakland's the best part of in my opinion, the best part of California, just because like you get
Okay.
like the real people. You get
Oh,
like you get like art. So yeah, I'm not growing up in Oakland it was rough, man. I mean, I think that it was really hard here because the crack epidemic in like the early '80s.
big thing,
First,
man.
it hit the Bay first. It hit the Bay Area with like Bobby Seale and Huey P. Newton, and like trying to break up the Black Panther organization, which was also lively in the Bay Area. That's what I'm saying. In the Bay Area, you have a lot of culture, you have a lot of like history, and you have a lot of art. And because of that, you get people who kind of like from a very young age for myself, you get people who see the culture, who can see the history, and it kind of creates a culture within itself. It creates like a vibe out here where
Yeah.
yeah, in the Bay Area we call it like there's a lot of different kinds of cultures depending on where you go, but there's like the hyphy movement, and then there's like You have like these young kids now where um, it's actually much better now. They don't have to. It's not as violent. Like I remember when I was growing up, I think Oakland was always the top five dangerous cities in the U.S. And now I
Hey,
don't even think it's. I think it might still be top 10, but I don't even think it's far as bad as it used to be.
was I guess gang violence, was that a big thing in your youth?
Yeah, yeah, it was really big in my youth. But I'd say for sure that because of the crack epidemic, a lot of my generation, which is you have the late '80s babies, we literally are like the crack baby generation because our parents the crack hit like in like the early '80s. So like a lot of my classmates and like a lot of my like people that I grew up with, a lot of these guys, they some of them don't have like common sense or they don't have like good
Hey,
upbringing. They've raised themselves. So when you grow up in a community like this, you kind of have to be ready for anything. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
man. I'm
Right.
curious, man. Can I ask you, can I ask what does your parents do, man? What do they do?
Yeah. So I grew up. I was raised mostly by my mom, and my dad kind of came back in the picture later on. But my mom is a registered nurse.
Okay.
Yeah, she works for Children's Hospital in Oakland, takes care of kids.
Okay, so no, man, I get you, man. So you're growing up in Oakland and everything, man. And I'm curious to hear, man. I guess how important was sports in your childhood, man?
That was all I did. That was all. I mean, basically, this is our outlet as youth in the Bay Area, where we don't have there, especially in Oakland, there were almost little to no after school programs, depending
Uh,
on the area, because budget never had it. It was never in the budget for the schools. Like um, so, basically, sports was our outlet outside of like stuff that'll get you in trouble as far as like positive outlets. So
right.
um, yeah, no, it was sports has been a huge part of my life. I
Okay.
played, yeah, yeah. I grew up playing sports since probably 5 years old.
What did you play, man? Oh, yeah. What sports did you play?
My main sport was football,
Okay.
and then after football, my favorite sport was baseball. The one I should have probably
Ah,
played a little bit more.
okay. So
Um,
enough.
yeah, but and then I ran track. The sport that I did that a lot of people don't know about, I'd say, is
Minnesota.
I'm a downhill ski racer.
Oh wow, really,
Skiing.
man? Okay.
Yeah, I've been skiing since I was like 5 years old, and like I actually won two gold medals in skiing racing in regionals.
That's awesome. That's cool, dog. And
I can't hear you. What'd you say?
uh, can you hear? I said that's awesome, man. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Mhm.
Okay, I said that's awesome. I would have never known you skied, man. How did
Yeah,
you get introduced to skiing, bro? I guess is Oakland, is that close to Northern California? I don't know.
yeah. Oakland is in Northern Cal, and it's like not too far from Lake Tahoe. So Lake
Hey,
Tahoe was
the
a trip
winter,
that me
right?
and my mom used to go on. We used to go on this trip a lot, and since I was like maybe five, kind of growing up in it, I probably started racing around 15, and I started winning around like maybe 16, 17.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, yeah. I won my first gold medal in Canada,
Hey,
Whistler. Yeah, Whistler, Canada. And then when I was 16, and then I think my second gold medal was in Salt Lake City, Utah, when I was almost 18. I think.
let me ask you this, man. I don't know anything about downhill skiing, man. I guess what do you think made you so good at downhill skiing, man?
uh, wow, what made me so good in it? I guess all the sports that I played kind of helped with my coordination, but
Hey,
most of all, I was just trying to go as fast as I can. Like I
you
used to try to
reckless?
go so fast that the snowflakes, like when they would be like falling from the sky, when they hit your face, if you're going fast enough, it can start to hurt. But that
Believe
pain
it.
feels, yeah, yeah. But if it's yeah, it's like going super fast where your face hurts. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah,
I
yeah.
would have to imagine, man, he's probably one of the only few African Americans out there, right? Or what?
That's how it always been. Like I would like go down to the bottom of the hill and then take off my mask, and everyone would be like shocked that I was black. Yeah, yeah.
That's wild, bro.
Uh huh. Yeah, it
I,
was
I,
cool.
yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
But
So you know, you're growing up in Oakland, man. You know, you said sports, you know, it's a major outlet for you. I'm curious, man. Once you graduate, you know, are you ever considering, you know, maybe going professional with anything? You know, professional athlete, or was that an option for you?
unfortunately, at when high school, so yeah, I when I was playing sports and football, I was sought out by a lot of schools. I was all state in California, and I was my defense. I was captain on my team,
Nice.
but
Real quick, what school? What high school did you go to, man?
I went to Berkeley High, Berkeley High School. Yeah. So yeah, I went to Berkeley High, and then what would I say?
I know you say you were all pro right now, all pro, but
Yeah, but the main reason why I didn't go is because I didn't pass NCAA clearinghouse. So like you need a 2.0 to graduate high school, but you need like at the time I don't know what it is now, but you needed like a 2.3 to be eligible for scholarship.
um,
Yeah, and I barely graduated high school. Like I didn't like I had like a 2 point. I think I graduated high school with a 2.16, I think, or something like that.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's hella low, dog.
that's hella low.
That-
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta ask this, man. I want to get into all that stuff, man. But please tell me, man. I guess what were your distractions, man? Or were you distracted? Did you just did not care, or what was it? Was it household?
Nah, it was uh it was dating actually. It was to be
So,
honest, it was
player.
yeah, I went to 10 proms. I went to 10 high school proms throughout my whole high school career.
That's
Yeah.
crazy, man. But I think
Yeah.
most people only go to two, right?
Most people probably only go to two. Yeah, most people. Yeah, but yeah, I went to 10 proms over like 5 schools in the Bay Area from like my sophomore year to my senior year. I was just always at a prom every year almost, and yeah, I was just hella social. Like I would like leave my school, go to another school, or like yeah, I was hella distracted.
I understand, man. You was so you was what they call? Were you one of the jocks, man, back in the day?
Say that one more time.
I said, were you one of the jocks back in the day?
Yeah, this is what I was. Yeah. Yeah.
I understand, man. So you were saying though, man. So yeah, you were unable to get a scholarship to a college. So did you not even go, or what happened?
No, so I went to JUCO or junior college. I basically had to do a placement test to go to a community college, and then I didn't really learn much in high school because I wasn't paying attention. So I basically flunked the placement test, and I had to take I think 1 year of remedial classes to get to like freshman level high school college classes. Like I had to take like I remember the first math class they were teaching us like the x-axis, the y-axis,
Right, the
and
graph.
like
Yeah.
yeah, like it was like hella basic, but it was basically remedial level. It was basically like high school. I had to take a year of high school classes again, basically, before I could even get to like freshman classes in
Okay. I'll be
college.
honest with
Yeah.
you, man. I want to hear this, man. But this just makes it even more impressive, man, that you got your bachelor's in chemical engineering, bro.
Wait, yeah, no, it was never because like it was all
That's
about the
impressive,
commitment.
man. Okay, exactly, man. You got to work hard for that, right?
Yeah, yeah. I worked hard. I
I
worked hard for
believe
that.
it. You
Yeah.
engineering? Oh, hey guys, if you could leave a like and subscribe and share this with the people, that would mean the world to me and my channel. I really would appreciate that. But let's just jump right back into this
Worked
episode.
hard for
Believe
that.
it. You
Yeah.
engineering? Oh, bro, dude. So
Yeah.
I have my bachelor's in information systems,
Okay.
and all the people who couldn't do engineering went to information systems, bro. Because that's just how it worked.
Yeah, it was really hard, but it was almost, I took it almost as if it's a challenge. Like I remember um my counselor was trying to help me with like, you know, like, I don't know, I just want to make a lot of money. And at the time, this is when oil was super big. Like oil and gas were like leading the industry and everything.
Right, right.
Um and it was also around the time of this was around 2008. This was around 2007, 2008. So there was a recession in the country around that time, and there were not a lot of jobs. There was a big job issue. So I wanted a degree that was going to give me a job always, and then also a degree that was going to pay me a lot of money. And if you Google highest paid jobs
Infield, right?
for, yeah, if you Google highest paid jobs with a bachelor's, it was always engineering. And out of all the engineers, the most paid engineer was chemical engineer. So that's how I actually settled on it. So, which doesn't surprise me now that I find myself doing something else because I didn't do it for the right reasons, you know?
Okay, okay, man.
Yeah.
I wanna let's talk about that real quick, man. I guess tell me about that whole time period, man, when you're trying to get your bachelor's, man. What was that like for you? I know you said it was very difficult, man. What was that? What kept you going? What motivated you? Was just the money?
My counselor told me I couldn't, I wasn't smart enough.
Okay, so that was fuel to the fire
Yeah.
or what?
Yeah. My counselor told me I wasn't smart enough. I should do something else like business or something more realistic. Yeah. So I took that as almost like you got me fucked up. Like I'm not about to. Yeah, but it was also the money. But which is funny is that I was so focused on the degree and getting the degree and learning, the material, that while I was in college, all these tech companies emerged hugely, like Uber,
Right.
yeah, Dropbox, like Instagram, like all of these big tech companies like started surfacing around when I was in college. And when I finished college and when I graduated, it was more like oil actually wasn't as hot as it used to be. Now it's all about like computer programming and tech. Yeah.
Ah,
So it's very interesting to see kind of how the world's changed, and kind of what I need to do to kind of stay relevant, as an engineer. Getting an engineering degree isn't enough. You need the skills still.
oh man, come on. That's a big
Yeah,
thing, man. They you go look for jobs and they say bachelors with like 10 years of experience, right?
exactly.
So I'm curious, man. So I guess you work hard and you graduate, man. What happens? I guess after you graduate college, man.
After I graduated, so yeah, I bust ass, got my degree, and then I was like, well, what now? And then, so coming out of college, I actually had pretty good grades in college, which is funny because I had bad grades in high school. But I went to my first job was with General Mills in
Okay.
Buffalo, New York.
Are they just strictly a cereal company, or are they more than that?
What, a cereal? You said?
Don't they make cereal, or am I tripping?
Yeah, no. They make like yellow box Cheerios, Lucky Charms, Honey Nut
Right, right.
Cheerios, but they also do stuff like they got like bars and other like food items and stuff.
Okay, okay,
It's
okay.
not just cereal, yeah. But yeah, that's their main money maker, cereal. And um, General Mills, yeah, I was working in their Buffalo, New York plant, so that was in Buffalo, New York, all the way north.
Other side of
Yeah.
the states, man.
Man, yeah, from Cali to Georgia, then to Buffalo.
Wait, so what you did you go to college in Georgia or?
Yeah, so the Georgia Institute of Technology is in
Oh,
Atlanta.
okay, okay, okay. Sean, oh,
Yeah,
you's in Atlanta, man. Okay.
I went to Georgia Tech.
Oh,
Yeah,
no. Okay. Well, I want to hear about New York, man. Tell me about your time in Atlanta, man, because Atlanta's a cool city, man. That's a black
yeah.
city, bro.
Atlanta's definitely a really cool city, but I can't. I don't know. I don't know how much I want to tell you about Atlanta.
I mean, I heard about it, man. I heard it's I heard it's the people down kind of sweet.
Well,
I heard that's a
it's
big
not
like.
like so the thing is I got into it's not really the people that I have problem talking about. It's more like I also got into Berkeley.
That's what
So
I thought.
yeah, I got into Cal Berkeley, and then but I went to Georgia Tech for crazy reasons, and it wasn't necessarily about school. It was about like some extracurricular activities I was doing.
Okay.
That isn't, yeah,
Was you a wild boy? Can we just say that?
yeah. I was doing some other stuff.
I understand, man.
Yeah, yeah, but but outside, but yeah. So Atlanta for me was a really good time. Yeah, I had a great time in Atlanta. Um, but yeah, no, Atlanta was good. I got a lot of a different feel. Like I never really felt black until I went to Atlanta. Because in the
Okay.
Bay Area, yeah, in the Bay Area, you don't really see color out here. Like everything is with everyone, and everyone's together. It's like in the Bay, you have a lot of like Asian, a lot of Indian, a lot of African, a lot of white. You know, like everything. It's a mix. I mean, I grew up out here in this, but when I went to Atlanta, it was black. It was like,
Bro, it's a black city, man.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was different. The South in general, actually,
Oh, yeah.
the
Oh,
South.
bro, yeah, yeah, so true, man. Yeah, you're not from here, man. I'm kind of used to it. So yeah, man, that's a big
Yeah,
difference, bro.
it's a huge difference. Even in New York, like I've never seen like segregation until I went to Buffalo. Like Buffalo, that city is hella segregated.
And wait, and expand on that. What do you mean by segregated?
Like um, I forget the street that I used to live on, but one of the main streets on one side of the street is kind of like a bad area, and this is where like most of the black people stay, and then on the other side of the street you have like a lot of white people, but it affected me most at work because I would go to work and at lunch the black people would sit with the black people and the white people would sit with the white people, and for me I've never seen this until I went
Okay.
to like Buffalo. Yeah, and it was like such a normal thing, and then it was even to the point where my trainer at General Mills had gave me a compliment for sitting at a white table when really it's like not that big a deal to me, like, you know what I mean? So yeah.
I understand. I
Yeah.
definitely understand that, man.
Hmm.
So, yeah, so you moved to Atlanta, get your degree, and then you moved to General Mills. I guess what are you, yeah, I guess you're obviously not still at General Mills. So I guess what caused that separation, man. Did you not enjoy the job? Did you not like Buffalo or?
No, I hated Buffalo, bro. It
Okay.
gets like -30
Dude, it
in
gets cold
the
up there,
winter.
man.
Yeah, cold ain't even a word, man. It gets cold, like really cold in that.
So hold on, what was was even so the money wasn't even enough to make up for the cold?
Nah, well, to be honest, like the money overall as an engineer wasn't what I thought it would be either.
Oh,
Like
underwhelming.
yeah, 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 underwhelming. Yeah, like I remember when, like I said, in Atlanta, I was doing a lot of stuff, and I was actually making more money in Atlanta than I was as an engineer. So it was like,
Really?
yeah, yeah, engineering for me. I guess I kind of, for me personally, I guess I went through college with a blindfold on,
Okay.
and the whole time I wasn't really absorbing what was happening in the world while I was going
Okay.
through college. And then when I got out of college, it's just like, oh, this is all the money I get. It was only like, I think entry level engineers was only making like 75, 80,000, which is okay, I guess,
Right.
but for me, what I went into it for, I thought it was gonna make me rich, and I was an idiot for thinking that.
Okay.
Hmm.
Let me ask you this, man, real quick, man. I guess looking back on it, I have to imagine you have some student debt, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I'm curious to know, man. Looking back on it, was it worth it, or would you do the same thing now, or no?
If I can do the same thing again, I would I would take my scholarships that I had in California and stayed instead of going to Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah.
Especially you had to pay that out of state tuition, man. That's no
Um,
joke.
yeah. No, student loans is Like I have friends in Europe now since I travel the world and stuff, and I see meet all these people. Like people are getting their education for free, for
Oh,
nothing. You know, it's like yeah, if I could do it all over again, probably I would not make that same decision. Yeah,
understand. That's like one of the biggest hustles in America right now, right?
yeah, it's bad.
I understand,
Yeah.
man.
Hmm.
So let me ask you this real quick. So you're living in Buffalo and everything, man. And then I believe in 2015 you go to the Toronto Kizomba and Bachata Festival. Is that right?
Yeah, man. It was so. Yeah, I went to Buffalo basically, and at first it was miserable because I'm just there. I don't know anybody, and I never really connected that well with engineers. Like they were really, I never really like hanging out too much with engineers. So I was bored 3 weekends in a row. 3 weekends in a row, it was just like -10, -20, and I started like looking up like activities to do in the city, and I found this like indoor salsa class where it was like a class every Wednesday. So I went to the class. I had never danced before at this time, but I started dancing salsa and bachata um, every Wednesday, and then there was like a small like party.
Mhm.
And I started going, and like for me it was just like sports. It was just like footwork on music with a
Yeah.
partner, so it was
Right,
like
right.
easy. Yeah, so I was able to pick it up. Even now I'm still able to like pick up choreography super fast. um but we do the I don't know, I did it for maybe 3 months, and then like my friends that were going, um they started inviting me to stuff, and they invited me to the festival, and that's where I found out about my first festival. And
Okay.
I don't know, for me I liked it. Like it was like something to do. They had alcohol, the girls were cute. Yeah, it was a big like Puerto Rican influence in that city.
Right,
So
right, right.
yeah, but then yeah, I went to Toronto and literally had the best time of my life ever.
And
Yeah.
and so wait, please tell me, why do you say the best time of your life, man? Or what made it so special for you?
For me, like, well, when I was pricing the trip, I was like, well, what is this festival you guys are talking about? And then they sent me the link, so I look at it. It's like the registration pass was like $120 Canadian, so it was like 90 to $95, and that to me as an engineer, that's hella cheap. And then also the hotel, you get like there was like a 20, I don't know, there was like a room block where you get discounted rooms. So the rooms
Nice.
was, and then from Buffalo, Toronto's only like a 2 hour drive, so I could just carpool with someone. So it seemed like a hella cheap trip
Uh-huh.
compared to the normal trips that I would normally take, where I would spend thousands on a trip. And then so I was like, okay, well it's so cheap, I might as well go and check it out. And then I went, and like I've never been to a place where I've seen so many people from so many different places come to
Right.
one place
For the same thing.
to enjoy themselves, but they enjoy themselves in a way that had nothing to do with your status. It had nothing to do with like how much money you have. It had nothing to do with like any kind of really materialistic thing. It was all based on like the connection that you have with the person that you're dancing with and the music. And like for me, that was a completely different. I've never seen a vibe like that. Like coming growing up in hip hop.
Uh-huh.
In hip hop is completely different. Hip hop is like all about who's at the
Materialistic,
VIP.
right? Right.
Yeah, who's at the VIP. How many drinks? How many $20 drinks can you buy tonight? Even if there's a girl that you are interested in or something, like it's like how many drinks is it going to take for this to be an acceptable meeting? You know what I mean? Like
Right.
versus like in Toronto, it was just like everyone was just learning, everyone was happy, the weather was great, and people were so interesting coming from all over the world. And some of the best interactions that I had were people that I didn't even necessarily speak the same language. And for
Okay.
me, it was so powerful. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's one of the reasons why I also I'm a big fan of dance festival, dance congress, man. They're amazing events, man, to go to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
I wanna ask you this though, man. I would love to hear about your beginner stage in salsa, man. Tell me about that. What was that like for you?
Salsa.
Yeah, man, on your beginner stage.
Beginner salsa. It was salsa was. I mean, I learned it as my solo and only dance that in bachata, and like I had good vibes. I love dancing salsa even now. But I will say though I'm probably still doing the same moves in salsa right now that I was doing in 2015. I haven't really learned any new moves, but no,
Okay.
salsa's lit. Salsa's lit. I
Yeah.
love
I
salsa. It was
like
just like I said, it was footwork, it was cardio, and I like the people. I like the Spanish people. So it was nice.
I say for me as well, man. I see like I feel like salsa is kind of like the gateway, man. Because even myself, man, I started with salsa and bachata, man, and then found out about kizomba, and then found out about Brazilian zouk. So I understand that, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell
Same
me,
for me.
yeah, it's everyone has a similar story, man. So tell me about tell me about how you got introduced to kizomba, man. How I know that was at that festival as well, correct?
No, it actually happened before the festival. So, like a few weeks before the festival, basically, so I would go every Wednesday to the salsa and bachata class, and I would have fun with it. But every party they played one Kizomba song, and everyone would sit down. Nobody knew how to dance it, but there was this one black dude that would get up and just kill it and just
Hey,
slay the
hey,
dance.
hey.
Yeah, and then it was always just like something nice to look at. I like the music. I like the way this guy dances. I wish I could do that. And then after a while, there was like not too far from my house, there was like a free beginner Kizomba class, and I just went
Nice.
because I was free, and I was super bored in Buffalo, so I didn't have anything else to do. So I just kind of started. We started with like the lady Saida, and it was hella hard at first, but it was cool. Like I just stayed with it, and yeah, I really enjoyed that social. So I had like a little bit of the basics, but then when I went to the festival, and then I saw like
The
my
good people,
first.
right? The talented people.
Yeah, yeah, I saw like I think it was Evo and Shani that were my first teachers. My first Kizomba class I think I ever took was with Evo and Shani in the Toronto Bachata Festival in 2015. And I just thought that they were so amazing, and then the parties, the Kizomba parties, like I would see that people would go to salsa and bachata, but then when they wanted to like relax and chill, they would go to Kizomba room, and like the Kizomba room was such a vibe. I just remember it was such a vibe that I was just like, yo, this is the shit.
Now I feel you, man. I remember I think that's probably like the best part, man, about congresses, man, that they can be so inspiring. When you see the people who are really good, you're like, oh man. It's
Yeah.
oh man, that shit is the best. I love that, man. And I think like you said though, man, it doesn't you know, dancing is like one of the things where, it doesn't matter about your status or anything, man. Because I've met people who are just regular folks, man, but they are amazing dancers, man.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
Tell me, real quick, tell me about. I believe you at one point you were taking Afro Haitian classes for West African drumming. Is that right?
Yeah, dude. I've been doing drumming for like 5 years.
Okay.
Um, I wasn't a dancer at this time. This was in high school, and yeah, I wasn't a dancer, but this was the beginning for me. This was how it all started. It was basically I was trained on basically three drums. I was trained on the jum jum, which is the big bass, the djembe, which is the thing between your legs that you hit with your hand, and then the sabah. The sabah has a very small stick, and it's a small drum you put between your legs, and you get to play with your hand and the stick at the same time. And they all have different sounds, different percussion instruments, but they're all very powerful. And I just liked it. I didn't dance. I think the reason that stopped me from dancing was just societal norms.
Mm.
And like in Oakland at that time, like all my friends, they didn't understand understand dance. It was like if you ain't twerking, then you're not dancing. It's like
Okay, so that's how
like
I
there
think that
was
might be the black community, right? Or what?
yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, there was like no middle ground. There was no way to understand how to dance like a man without
The-
like twerking or whatever. You know what I mean? Like yeah, at least my generation, I had never seen a dancer dance manly. Like even when I would see dance performances, all the guys are in leotards and in sequence leotards. So it's like I've never seen that.
I mean, I don't. I understand, but I don't want to leave out like maybe break dancing or like hip hop dancing. That's a thing as well, though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So yeah, if you so I didn't like those because and I would always say that like there was always be like the dance circle and then the guys are in the middle battling each other and stuff like that. But I used to hate that because there's all these girls here and we're not talking to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like to me that was the part that I never so I never got into hip hop dancing like that or like the break dance circles just because I always felt like we should be dancing with these girls. Cause I used to like to twerk. It's just I wouldn't twerk like I would be behind the girl twerking and I would
Yeah,
be on the
yeah.
floor
Dudes don't twerk. Females
crazy.
twerk.
Yeah. But when I would tell my friends that I was dancing, they were just like they didn't understand. Like
They thought you were twerking.
yeah, they didn't understand. But they knew I would never do something like this, so they were just confused. Right. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
so I want to hear about this, man. I'm kind of jumping back and forth, man. But please tell me about your beginner stage in Kizumba, man.
Uh, um. After my um, I'd say after my intro to Kizomba, after that first festival, not too long after that festival, because that festival was Labor Day weekend and winter was coming, and I was trying to get out of Buffalo because it was so cold and move back here. Um,
Oh, so yeah, so you quit General Mills and moved back to Cali?
yes, yes, I moved back to Cali so I could be closer to my daughter and be closer to my family, my mom, and yeah. So when I moved here, there was an instructor, Eddie Vince.
Yeah,
Eddie
yeah. I'm
Vince
about to have him
would,
on the
yeah,
show, man. I'm about to have him on the
yeah,
show, bro. Eddie's the big homie.
yeah. So Eddie Vince taught me. I trained with him for I think 6 months, and he taught me everything I know about Kizomba. He
Okay,
did.
yeah, dude. He's legit, bro.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's a really good instructor.
Matter of fact, he's coming on the
Um,
show tomorrow, bro. I just he's on tomorrow. Yeah,
Tomorrow,
yeah, man.
nice. Yeah. So yeah, no, he has a lot of knowledge and he understands the dance. And but yeah, so my beginner stages were basically put there. I was working with him a lot, just training with him once a week, and I was getting really good in Kizomba Simba, and then I went to Neokiz second year. Um,
That's in Texas, right? Austin, right?
yeah, Neokiz. Yeah, when Charles was first starting out, and that's when I learned about Urban Kids because then Laurent was there and I was there and I fell in love with Urban Kids completely just because of the
Yeah.
music.
Mm.
I feel like one big reason that made me fall in love with Kizomba though, I mean with Urban Kids was that Kizomba at this time, Kizomba was so negative. Like as far as like the fighting in the culture, like fighting urban kids people or like fighting like what people would say is like people would talk a lot of shit. I noticed in Kizomba and urban kids, the people seem like so at the time people seem so happy. I think now it's kind of leveling out now, but for sure like 2015, 2016, um, yeah, it was like a very negative annotation to be in a Kizomba dancer. What?
I want to expand on that, man, because I've only heard certain things about it, man. And what do you mean by that? It was negative to be a Kizomba dancer. Well,
Well, I think you finally started having like real Angolans come and travel as artists, and when you ask an Angolan about Kizomba, it's completely different. It's not just a dance; it's their culture.
it is, man. Yeah.
So yeah. So when you ask Angolans, or not even just Angolans, but like polyps, like Portuguese speaking countries.
Exactly.
Like for them, Kizomba is so much more than just a dance, and to see people take that name and kind of change it in any kind of way, whether it's the cadence of the footwork, or if it's the name of the dance, or if it's the music that is danced to, for people to start changing people's culture, it's very divisive in the dance community. So you would basically have, and like you would basically have like Palops and Angolans fight for their culture, but to especially like Americans that were dancing Kizomba at this time, where they just wanted to dance and they didn't necessarily understand or even really care to learn about the culture, you would have basically people saying like, "Why are you hating?" Almost, and it just seems like Kizomba people were super negative and super like attacking people, and like people would like attack like Sarah Lopez, or they would attack Albir, or they would attack someone on Facebook, and it would come off as very negative.
Of course.
But what they were really doing was kind of defending what they thought the dance meant to them and their families and their culture. So like I understand both sides of it, where it's just like you just have people who just want to dance and enjoy themselves to the good music. But what that did at the time was it just created a huge divide, which is basically why I started Kizomba, the KDA, the Kizomba Dance Alliance, is because because I still love Kizomba. I always love Kizomba and I still love it now. But I love urban kids, and I wanted to kind of create like an environment in San Francisco where it was okay to dance both. And even this day, like it's still very,
Yeah, man.
yeah. So I think that's basically the more or less the kind of the story behind it.
No, I get you, and that's what I've heard. Though. That's exactly what I've heard as well, man. I'm
Mhm.
curious though, man. Could you explain to me the difference between Kizumba and Urban Kids?
The difference between Kizomba and urban kids, it has to start with the music, because the music is completely different. Like they're not even, if you play one and play another, it doesn't even feel the same to your body, you know. So it starts with the music, and then after that, it starts with your technique and posture and framework. It's like, how do you lead and follow? Like in Kizomba, you lead, like Kizomba Simba dancers. I'd say maybe 80% of the leading and the information that I'm transferring to my partner is through the chest connection. So it's like I'm giving you from my frame where I'm leading you and telling you where to go in the dance. And in urban kids, like the chest connection, you can have it, but it's not required, and it's because you activate the right arm of the follow, and now the follow
Mm,
can now lead from different connection points in urban kids. And
right,
not
right,
and
right.
so you get that difference, and then you also get like the difference in cadence. Like a follow in urban kids can do different things than a follow in Kizomba. Like a follow, like in Kizomba, it's a very important to keep the timing,
That's what the
and it's
follow does, right? Yeah.
yeah, it's very important to keep the timing and the connection. But in urban kids, you can play with the timing as a follow. You don't necessarily always have to step on the beat. You know what I mean? And then it comes to like we can do this all day. But
Right,
then
right, right.
there's like syncopations. Like we're in
Exactly.
syncopation. When you syncopate in urban kids, like you lock your hip in a way that you can accelerate. You know, where you can accelerate, where it's almost like running,
Right, right, right.
versus in Kizomba, you want to finish that weight transfer so you can feel the floor, you can be grounded. So it's a lot of, actually it's a lot of differences. However, you have some similarities in some of the steps, like saidas. Like in urban kids we have saidas, and in Kizomba you have saidas. So, and they look very similar, you know, so they must be the same dance. And this is a
That's
big
the
problem.
thing. Yeah, from someone from the outside
Problem.
looking in, it's hard to tell the difference, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
I get you.
So this is yeah. So this will cause a lot of the conflict and issue with Kizomba people. And I understand it. 100% I understand it. Yeah. Hmm.
I get you, man. I get you, man. So um, I guess I want to get to, man. So you know, you move back to Cali, And I guess at what point do you start to take dancing more seriously? Because like, do you have a full time job now, or are you a full time dancer? I'm unsure, honestly.
Right now, I'm a full time dancer.
Oh, that's awesome,
Yeah.
man. So that's so awesome, man. So yeah. So then tell me this, man. So you move back to Cali, and you start training with Eddie Vince and everything. I guess what makes you start taking dancing more seriously, and also at what point do you determine to go all in on it?
It's kind of something that just happened. So I was just in love with the dance, and I just wanted to travel for it. I had PTO and I had money from work, and I just started traveling to different festivals, learning from different people, taking privates, and it got to the point where I started becoming pretty well known as a social dancer. I know, like, probably my first demo ever was with Shafia in Vegas, and it was like I was getting a growing reputation as like a really just good social dancer. People would like to see me at events. Um, and then I started putting out videos. Like my first few videos were with Shafia. I think actually my first like two or three videos, and then yeah, we just started. Yeah, my name started kind of getting out there, and then the reason why I started teaching was because a lot of the instructors in the Bay Area they left, and there was almost no Kizomba teachers in the Bay at this time. But we had a really good social dancer, which was me, and people just started asking me like, "Hey, can you start picking up classes?" And I was like, I
Right, right.
didn't. Yeah, well, it wasn't really why not. It was just like, well, I care about this dance enough that I want to help it grow. So it kind of more came from that. And then I started teaching for about a year, and throughout that year, I started actually getting asked to teach in other cities. And this was at first it was like, okay, like sure I can, I'll do this. It sounds good. But at one point, I started getting a lot of bookings, and I started getting booked internationally.
Oh man,
And
that's
this is,
awesome.
yeah, and this is when I think it was MIK, Montreal is Kizomba. Was it? I don't think it was last year. It might have been last year actually. Wow, I don't know. But MIK called me and they wanted me to come teach at their event. And this I never taught in Canada at the time or outside of the US, and I wanted to do it, but I was already out of PTO
Okay.
at my job. So it was like one of those points where it's like, man, I could say no to MIK for work, or I could say no to work for this new thing that I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just basically was just like, you only live once,
Come on, man.
and I didn't really like the job anyway. You out? Okay, I'll text you. All right. Where I didn't really like the job that I was in anyway. So yeah, I left that company. I left that company, went to Montreal, and I haven't looked back since. Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome, man. Um,
Mhm.
I got. I guess I want to ask you, man. What? I guess you said you only live once. Is that what made you take that leap, man? Because there are a lot of people out there, man, who are scared to take that leap. I guess what made you able to take it, man?
I think I was able to take it. What made me take the leap? I think it was more that I'm very systematic with how I approach things. So it's not like I was going to leave this company and not have any plan. Like I set up specific milestones where like I know I gave myself 12 months. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this for 12 months and just see where I'm at in life. And then I did it for 12 months. And then it was like, okay, where am I at now? Like how much, like where are my finances at? Like how happy am I? Just kind of like normal check-in. So I actually checked in quarterly with myself. I was just
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I was gonna do it for 1 year, and then I was gonna check in every 4 months and kind of see where I was at. And every 4 months, something I had a new project, something new was happening,
Nice.
And even now it's still a little bit unclear where I'm going to go with it, just because I have all these projects and I just have a lot of options, that I can go.
Hey, I want to hear, man. Tell me about those first 12 months, man. Tell me about that. What was that like, man? You go from, I imagine, pretty much always having like a daytime job, or I guess what, to being
Hmm.
your own man. Tell me about those first 12 months.
It was amazing. It was like it was basically like um so yeah, the thing is that I truly feel like life is too short to do things that you don't want to do, and to go to work or to work for someone that you don't enjoy, to look forward to Friday and Saturday, to
Right.
me is bullshit. Like, there's nothing wrong with Tuesday. There's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with Monday either. You know what I mean?
Right,
And
man.
it's
So
just,
true.
yeah. So I just feel like because I made this jump, every single day is interesting. Every single day, like, I can put time into a project for myself. For instance, now today, like, I have my grand opening for my performance team is tonight.
Nice. Well, what's the name of your
Yeah.
performance team, man?
Well, right now it's just I'm just calling it the Kizomba Dance Alliance Choreo Challenge slash performance training. I don't have a
Okay.
name for this team yet, but right now I'm gonna start training performers,
That's awesome,
like
man.
Kizomba performers. Yeah. Um, yeah. No, man. It's. I think my creativity has been able to fully be expressed now that I'm doing my own thing, and I think this is what I felt the most hindered when I was working for a company, because you can't do things without 4 or 5 yeses from people, and some people don't agree and they might have good reasons, but at the end of the day, like, I truly feel like my best asset is working with people, and I don't really get that as an engineer.
Yeah, man. I
Yeah.
understand that. I definitely understand that, man.
Hmm. For sure.
So
Yeah, man.
let me ask you this real quick, man. So you've been teaching and everything for a while. Um, do me this, man. Can you give me maybe some hints and tips for becoming a better lead as well as a better follow?
um yeah, I'd say probably a tip that I really like to give a lot of leads is to try to lead with your hands behind your back, and truly start trying to lead without using your hands as the primary source. Like your leading can come from so many different things in your body, and the primary place that your leading comes from is your hands. So if you take that away and start building up the other parts in your dance and in your lead, like what else can you, if you wanted to do a saida, what could you use other than your hands to help give you the feeling of a saida for the follow, and then have her follow that, and then bring your hands back into it, but be very light. I feel like when you grab the follow, or like when you hold her, or try to like do things too forcefully on the hands, then you really stop yourself from being free, because you take on her weight, you take on her indecisiveness, if she's like second guessing herself. To me, the best thing to do is you lead and let her walk wherever she wants, and have that be your interaction with her, like where she's completely free and you're not constricting her as a lead.
I've
Yeah,
heard.
and as
Oh,
mhm.
hold on, I want to talk about that real quick. See, I've heard
Yeah,
people say, it's preferable to use your body as a lead and not the hands, man.
yeah.
And so I'm curious, like, is there a reason why? Like, is it negative or is it bad to use the hands as a lead? Like, why is it more better to use, the chest, like I said, the body than the hands?
It's not even just the chest; it's the whole body.
Okay,
And
okay.
like I use my legs. I probably use my legs more than anything else. Like leg leading, I use my leg. But the reason why is because, like, just think of like physics. Like, if you put if you want to move an object 1 meter and you push at one point on that object, then all of the force to move that object 1 meter comes from one point. But if you distribute, if you have like 5 or 6 points that you just want to move the same object 1 meter, you don't have to push as hard. You don't need as much force. And that's what it really comes down to. Because like a lot of complaints that I hear from follows is that guys are too forceful or they're basically
Okay.
throwing them around.
Okay.
And basically, what you want to do is you want to lead lightly so that the follow can enjoy the dance, and more importantly, she can express herself, which will completely change the dance when you have a dynamic of like lead and follow, and two people are actually dancing versus one person's just like leading and the other
Right,
person just
right. Um,
what.
I want to get into the follows, man. But real quick, man. How can leads become, lighter leads? So, like, what is something we can do to get better at that?
Practice dancing with your hands behind your back.
All right, showing up.
Yeah, put your hands in your pockets, and whatever step that you want to do, find a way to lead that step without using your hands. Just
Okay.
figure out a way, even if it looks strange or uncomfortable. Just by you doing this gives you more confidence as a lead because you can see that it's possible to lead things in different ways, and it's also just taking the force off of the lower back of the follow. But
Okay, okay, sure enough, man.
yeah.
And and maybe, or please, give me some tips to help the followers out, man.
For the follows, I'd say the things that they could do better in is utilizing the left hand. A lot too many follows are just bringing their left hand and it's just sitting on the follow the lead's shoulder. It's just dead weight. Like if I take a step backwards as a lead, there should be many different ways that you should follow that step backwards. It should be that yes, you're following my right hand. My right hand is pushing you or pulling you, but you should also be trying to keep the connection with my legs. So that already helps you follow that step back. And then also you should engage your left hand as a follow, so then you can use my back to help you take that step forward or while I take that step back. And all those things working at the same time can give a very light and enjoyable walk
Okay.
backwards. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But sometimes follows don't use the left hand, so then it's just basically all the guys just pulling her back, and then that's hard on our shoulders, and it's just hard on the dance overall.
Yeah, no, I understand that, man. I
Hmm.
definitely do, bro.
Yeah,
Um, Let me ask you this, man. All right, I, I don't want to hold you up, man. Can I ask you a couple more questions, man?
yeah, yeah. What's
Yeah.
up?
Uh, Let me ask you this, man. For maybe someone who is a beginner and in Kizumba or Urban Kids or anything, man, and they may feel like they're not getting better. They feel like they may be stuck in a beginner's rut. What advice could you give them?
Set goals. Yeah, set goals. Yeah, if you feel like you're not growing as a dancer, the best thing that I think that you should do is set goals. I think if you don't have goals, then you can kind of get into this like comfortable zone where you are just okay with yourself because you have no reason to get better. But yeah, set actionable goals. Like if you want to do a competition, now a lot of festivals are doing like Jack and Jill competitions and stuff. But even if you want to compete in Olympiads, let's say maybe if you want to be a taxi dancer, like I had some of my students try to get good enough to be a taxi dancer at Neokiss. Like that was their goal is that like I want to be a taxi dancer. So maybe that they train and they try to put together a nice video so that they can submit it for the Olympia for the
Yeah.
taxi. Or yeah, I'd say for sure I say there's three things they can do. You can set goals, record yourself dancing. This is always the best thing to see yourself so you can actually see how, because sometimes the way it feels isn't always the way it looks. It might feel
Right.
great, but you might
Exactly.
look bad. Yeah. Yeah. And then it's to find a partner that you can dance with consistently. Yeah, it doesn't have to be like an official partner, but if you can find someone who that you don't have to readjust yourself every time that you start a dance with them, and you can kind of get to know each other, then I think that can help your creativity.
Yeah, I definitely understand that, man. Let me ask you
Mhm.
this, man. For for someone who is an intermediate and they want to get to that advanced level, what does it take for them?
In the dance of Kizomba,
I'm sure. I mean, I thought that that might be your specialty. So yes. Wow.
yeah, to learn to be creative with your musicality. I think this is it for you. Yeah, for an urban kids dancer, if you're advanced, if you have a lot of step, if you have a lot of move, but you're always dancing on tempo, and it's not musical or musical enough to be impactful, then this is where you can grow. And if you want to be advanced, you need to be creative with your musicality.
I think that leads you right into my next question, man. When I say the word musicality, what does that mean to you?
So in music, there's layers. And it's so there's so you have your bass layer, which is just the normal tempo, and then on another layer you'll have a piano, and another layer you'll have a voice, and another layer you'll have a guitar, and another layer you'll have a snare bass or something. And to be musical and is to be able to isolate those different layers
Right,
and
right, right.
express that and express those layers in your dance. What?
Yeah. No, I think I like the way you put that too. That's a great way to put it, bro. Um,
Yeah.
so then let me ask you this then: how how can someone improve their musicality?
So what I do is I'll put a song on. I'll put like a 16 count loop or a 32 count loop on my DJ because I DJ as well, and I'll just isolate. I'll pick one layer and I'll isolate it. Like okay, like and this is just by myself. I don't need a partner or anything, but can I dance just on the guitar, right there, just for this moment? Can I dance on just the bass? Some people think that dancing on the bass is the same as dancing on the tempo, but that's not true. Sometimes the bass can go like boom, 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 but then you have the dancer just dancing on tempo. So actually, they're not even dancing on the bass anymore. They're just dancing literally just on the tempo of the music. Whereas if you can dance on the bass, then that could be felt by your partner. That can be felt by people who watch you dance. They can tell that when you're dancing, this person is dancing on the beat. This person is dancing on the guitar. That's on the lyrics right there. Like you should be able to
Yeah.
clearly identify what this person is doing, and the best way to do it is just practice.
Oh no, simple as that, man. And
Hmm.
and and last question, man, real quick.
What's up, brother?
Can you give me one tip that can make anyone a better dancer immediately?
Slow down.
Okay.
Yeah. Whatever you're trying to accomplish, do it slower and see what you learn from it. And then do it even slower than that. And then do it even slower than that. Yeah. That will
All right.
help. The things you'll be able to hear. I can do a basic one for a full bar, 16 counts.
Damn,
One,
dog.
wait,
That's crazy.
hella control, but can you control your weight transfer that slowly? I think that will do wonders for everyone.
Okay. Hey, hey,
Mm-hmm.
Eddie, man, I want to say, man, I really enjoyed talking to you today, man.
Right on, bro. It's all it's love, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Dude, hell yeah, man. I can tell you're very passionate, man, at your craft, man. I love what you're doing for the dance community, man. Seriously, bro.
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
Let
bro.
me real quick, bro. Tell me this, man. What are some of your upcoming events, man? What do you have going on in your life?
Um, oh, well, I just released the performance team. So in the Bay Area, I'm now teaching 3 days a week in the Bay. I teach Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, all in the Bay Area.
Well,
Um,
and hold on, be more specific, man. Where you teaching at? What are the times, man?
Yeah, so I teach every Tuesday from 7:30 to 9:30 for my performance team. And then every Wednesday I have a weekly Urban Kids class in social from 7:30 to 9:30 class, and then a party from 9:30 to 11:30 p.m. And then every Thursday I have a class from 9:30 to 10:45. Half of it is Kizomba, half of it is Urban Kids. So because I still want to push Kizomba and promote Kizomba, and it's important for me that my students dance Kizomba.
Right, right, right.
So I have a 45 minute class where 45 minutes we spend on Kizomba, then this 45 minutes we do Urban Kids, and then we have a social until about 1 a.m. every Thursday in San Francisco.
Nice,
So
man.
that's just every week. This weekend I have my big party, which is Olympus. It's Salsa, Bachata, Kizomba, and Zouk at Allegro Ballroom in Emeryville. That we usually have about 300 to 400 people every month. It's very
Nice,
big.
man. That's awesome, bro.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
yeah. It's a really big party. And then on Sunday, once a month, we have day parties. I DJ a day party where it's a complete mashup. I do salsa, bachata, kizomba, zouk, afro beats, um, Simba, compa. I do everything. It's just a mashup. It's a day party under the sun at a barbecue restaurant. So the food's really good and it's really good vibes. That's this Sunday. That happens once every month. And that's just my events. But then I'm also booked a lot as well. Like I'm booked this Saturday in San Francisco before Olympus at the festival, the Bachata Festival here. Um, yeah, I just what is my next booking? I have to even look at it. Next weekend, I believe I'm home. My next booking, I believe, is the New Orleans Bachata Festival.
I said, bro, that's where I first met you, man. I mean, you came
Yeah,
last year.
yeah. New Orleans, I think. Yeah, this is. I have a
That's
few weeks off.
if I'm not mistaken, that's August 9th to the 11th is the New Orleans Bachata Festival.
Yes, August 9th to 11th, and then right after that, I'm doing a 8 hour intensive in Fort Myers, Florida. Um, I think the 22nd through 24th, or it's that week right after right after I come back from New Orleans. That's during the week, so that'll be Tuesday through Thursday, 8 hours total. And then that's an intensive. And then that weekend, I'll be at MBKF, Miami Beach Kizomba Festival. That
Well,
I'm
you're
not teaching
busy,
at.
man. You're busy, man.
Bruh, bruh, bruh. Yeah, it's so heavy. It's so heavy. But the last few weeks, I've been booked. I've been booked crazy. I actually have 3 weeks downtime, which for me is life right now. So I get to spend time with my daughter. I'm just kicking it, working on the teams and performers and stuff.
I mean,
Yeah.
that sounds like a blessing, though, man. I mean, I feel like it sounds like you're living your dream, man, which is so impressive, man.
My dream is I have half of my dream. The other half of my dream is the Hercules Dance Fitness.
Okay, speak on it real
This
quick,
is
man. Tell me,
this
tell me
is
about that.
So Hercules Dance Fitness is basically geared for festival goers and festival dancers. Basically, I feel like you go to a festival and then you get home and then you are super tired. You haven't ate well, and you basically feel terrible because you haven't drank really any water. You've been eating sporadically, and when you have eaten, it's been like shit food, and you haven't worked out, so it shouldn't surprise you with that. And then you danced and you slept and you didn't sleep really at all throughout the weekend. So there's basically four components to Hercules Dance Fitness. The first one is water consumption. I'm basically creating a program where you'll get water bottles, and it's a half a gallon, so you just need to fill it up twice. But you will get basically you have to drink 1 gallon of water a day, and then after that you can drink whatever you want, alcohol, whatever. So that will inspire people to find and finish to stay hydrated.
Right, right, right.
And then the second part of it is the snacks plan. So when you go to a festival, I feel like a lot of people go to Target or Walmart, but they don't utilize it as best as they can. So I have basically a $20 challenge where I basically create a few options that you can spend $20 or less on all your weekend worth of food, for just
Nice.
for snacks. So like this is just for snacks. So this is snacks in between the meals.
Okay.
And so it'll basically be like a loaf of bread, peanut butter, jelly, salami, pepper jack cheese, and crackers or something like that, where
Okay.
you can
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
kind of make just stuff for the house that are like semi-based healthy. And then you have the so that's the snacks, and then you have the actual meals. So Hercules Dance Fitness will give you 2 meals a day. It's similar to basically like an artist room, where like the instructors, they have basically their room, their hotel room, where they go get food. Basically festival attendees will have their hotel room that they can just come and they can make their plates and get good healthy food twice a day, lunch and dinner. So then that'll alleviate a lot of and that'll also add a social aspect of it too, because then you'll see who else is in Hercules Fitness, and you guys can be able to like hang out and work out together. And then the last part, the fourth part of it, is the actual workout plan. I basically create a workout that's only 20 minutes a day, and if you do it every day, you will come to the full party. You'll go to your pool parties ripped. You'll
Hey.
definitely
Hey.
like be in shape. Yeah, and this is all outside of the dance and just inside of the festival. So yeah, basically people would basically pay like a one-time fee for that festival, and that will get them the water bottle, the snack plan, the actual meals that are from a restaurant that are catered to the festival, and it will get you the workout. Yeah,
That sounds
basically.
legit, bro. That sounds legit,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. So and this will basically be for any festival that wants to apply to Hercules Fitness. Basically, the festival have to apply to fitness, and then we'd accept it. I just have to do the research and make sure that we can support that festival. But fitness in the daytime and then dance at night, for me, is this is the dream.
That sounds legit, bro. That sounds
Yeah,
legit, man.
yeah. This is the dream.
Hey, and so real quick, last one, Eddie. How can people get in contact with you, man? How can they reach out to you?
Instagram, Facebook, email. My email's Kizomba Dance Alliance at gmail.com. And Facebook. Facebook's really good. Messenger. Hit me up on any of the pages. Um, and Instagram. And if it's someone who I work with like personally, then my phone numbers to those who have it.
So no, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey,
No man.
hey,
Hmm.
hey, so yeah, like I said, man, I really appreciate it, Eddie. I told you, man, the first time I saw you or met you, man, was at the New Orleans Bachata Festival last year, man. And you
Yeah.
did your thing, man. I truly enjoyed that class, bro. So,
Are
I
you coming
had to
back?
have you on the show. Oh, so unfortunately, man, I'm moving. I'm moving at the end of this month, man.
Ah, damn. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
man.
good this year. I'm
I believe it,
performing this
man.
year too.
Oh man, it's so awesome, bro.
Yeah, yeah. I'm performing this year. It'll be hype.
Hey, I'm excited for you, bro. But like I said, Eddie, man, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. I really enjoyed this, man. Thank you so much.
All right, bro. Right on, man. I appreciate you could bring me on, and yeah, let me know if there's any information you need about anything that you need to find.
Sure enough, Eddie, man. Listen, man, enjoy the rest of your day. All right, Eddie.
All right, brother. I'll see you later.
Take it easy, bro.
All right, brother. All right.
All right, so hey everyone. If you made it this far to the end of the video, I want to thank you so much for just watching this. I really hope that you found value in this. My whole goal in this endeavor is to give a voice to people, to dancers, and to give value to the dance community. So if I'm not giving value, it's kind of pointless. So I strongly urge you to please comment and let me know where I can improve, what I need to do better, what I'm doing wrong, and hopefully what I'm doing right. But my overall goal is I want to give content. I want to be helpful. So please let me know where I can improve upon. I'm new to all this, so this is I'm learning as I go. So I need like feedback. Please comment and just let me know how I can improve. I would greatly appreciate that. That means the world to me, just to be able to interact with you all, have a conversation with you, and just see what you like and what you don't like. That means the world to me. I love interacting with you all. It means so much to me. But yeah, thank you so much for making it this far into the video. I gotta say, please leave a like, subscribe. If you don't like it, then let me know why not. Hit the down like button, hit the unlike button. But
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it.